Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're taking a look at and listen to the Streamplify mic, a budget-friendly stream microphone with many features. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we're taking a look at the Streamplify mic. As you can see here, we've already unboxed it, but I'll go through and tell you exactly what you get in the box, and we'll talk about the features, what you get, what you don't, what it's suitable for. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of things which this thing can do. I was actually very surprised, and especially when you look at the price. Now, the thing is with Streamplify, what they try to do is to be the kind of the budget man's Elgato. So there's a complete range of streaming products which you can purchase for extremely reasonable prices. I'll put some links in the video description for this particular unit. At the moment, at the time of recording, this is towards the end of August 2022, and this is retailing the whole kit with the shock mount, the microphone itself, the pop filter, the desk boom, and some other accessories as well for just under £60, which I think is actually fantastic value for money. Especially when you look at others on the market where you basically probably get the microphone itself and maybe a very basic tripod for around about 50. So yeah, you get a cracking amount of stuff for your money in this. And speaking of which, let's go through and take a look at the packaging and see what we actually get. So starting off with the packaging, as you can see, we've got the Streamplify traditional packaging there. And on the front, it says RGB, 2 audio modes, and also cardioid pattern. So to start with, let's talk about the pickup pattern. So this being a kind of really like a podcast mic or a broadcast mic, it has a cardioid pickup pattern. And so what that essentially means is it's going to try and pick up things which are around the front of it, but anything which is to the side and to the rear, it's going to try and reject it. Now also what this does is has a very clever feature built in, which actually I didn't even realise until I looked into it a little bit further. It has 2 modes in this. So it has one mode which is the podcast mode, which is basically the best in more open frequencies, but it also has a gaming mode. So if you've got a particularly loud clicky keyboard, or maybe you've got a loud mouse, or just a little bit of background noise, that sort of thing, maybe you've got kid brothers, sisters, etc. in the background making a heck of a lot of noise, you can put this thing into gaming mode and it will filter out a lot of that noise. Now obviously it is going to take out some of the audio as well. You're not going to get such crisp and clear audio, but we'll definitely be showing you some demonstrations of that a little bit later on in the video. Also, as it says, there's RGB modes. So we have a button actually on the mic, so you can go through and change the RGB modes. And there's actually 8 lighting modes in total, so you can choose your static colors, or alternatively there's 2 RGB modes, one of which is kind of like a rotating carousel, and the other one is kind of like almost your typical unicorn puke fade. Now this particular version comes with various accessories, so let's take a quick look at those. So obviously you're going to get the microphone itself, and looking at the microphone you've got all the usual suspects there. So you've got a volume control knob on the front, which also doubles up as a mode button. So if you press and hold it for a couple of seconds, it will switch modes between podcast mode and gaming mode. Noise cancelling mode, I suppose you could call it as well also. Just underneath that, you've got another button, which is your lighting button. So you press that, and you can go through and change your types of lighting, cycles through. You can as well, I should have mentioned as well, the top button actually is also a mute button. So if you press the button in, which I'm not going to do now, but you'll probably see some B-roll of this, you press the button in and it goes into mute mode. The light on the button turns red, and so you know it's basically muted, although the RGB one carries on doing whatever it's doing previously, so that's awesome. Underneath that, at the bottom, there is a 3.5mm jack. Now you can plug in a set of headphones to that, so you can actually monitor your audio. So if you're just trying to get your levels right, that sort of thing, you can wear your set of headphones, plug it into there, and you can hear yourself talking, so you get an idea of what's going on. Again, this is going to be great if you're doing things like interviews or you're doing reaction videos, because then you don't want people to hear necessarily all of the different types of audio all through the same channel. So by isolating the voice or the feedback of your voice makes things a lot bit easier in post-production. The microphone itself is connected with a USB Type-C connection. It does come with a USB Type-C to Type-C lead, and also you do get a USB to Type-C to Type-A connection, obviously depending on what you've got, whether you're using an Apple, PC, Android device, that sort of thing, then obviously use whichever cable is suitable. And this is actually completely universal plug and play, so you can plug it into basically any USB device which supports USB audio and it will work. So USB Type-C on your Android phone, plug it in, no worries, it's going to work with that. So if you want to do your podcasting with a decent mic to your mobile, you can do. Of course, you can plug it into other things like your Macintosh computers, PCs, laptops, you name it. As long as it's got USB Type-A or USB Type-C, you're absolutely golden. And for those of you that are interested, this is a 16-bit 48 kHz setup. So yeah, pretty decent as far as that goes. You're going to get nice reproduction on there. One thing for me, I find, particularly with my type of voice, is the bass cutoff is a little bit on the high side for me. So the cutoff point of this is 100 Hertz, whereas I generally tend to like microphones which go into the 80s, 60s, or even 40s, just to get that depth from my voice. On the top end, you're going up to 18 kilohertz, which realistically, most people, the human ear, anything over 15 kilohertz, you kind of can't register anyway, so the extra 3000 kilohertz is kind of pointless, but it's definitely there. So let's take a look at the rest of the accessories that we get with it. So first of all, you get the shock mount. So you've got a rubberized shock mount there, so you can clamp your microphone in, and this will absorb knocks, bumps, and all that kind of stuff from your desk. That's really handy, actually, for me personally. I have been using a previous microphone from another company, and it doesn't actually have a shock mount as such. It's just basically into an arm like this, but it doesn't have the shock mount. And I do notice whenever I'm doing voiceovers for some of my how-to videos, quite often I can actually hear things like my heartbeat coming through, and also even just my arms rubbing on the desk. Definitely the mouse and keyboard, and actually sometimes even from the keyboard, just the keystrokes, the kind of the reverberation of the mechanical key switches and the springs inside them. Sometimes that comes through into the microphone, which is a little bit off-putting. Most people probably don't even notice it, depending on what you're listening to, headphones, etc. But yeah, for me, it is a little bit annoying. So this is actually going to be a step up, and I'm actually planning to use this for my live streams on the Saturdays. So if you want to see actually how this does on our live streams, then feel free to click the subscribe button and the chime notification, and you'll be notified of future video releases, and you'll get notifications of live streams. So like I said, also we do get two cables in there, so you get a USB to USB Type-C, and we also get a USB Type-C to Type-A included. Both of those cables, 1.8 meters long. Of course, there's no reason why you shouldn't go ahead and get yourself another cable, so if you maybe got your PC a little bit further away, like I have here, then you can use an extension lead or just replace the cable. That is the beauty of USB Type-C. It is going to be the kind of the system, or the specification going forward, so this is kind of an investment. It should last you quite a while. Next up, we've actually got the desk clamp. So nice heavy duty desk clamp here, metal construction, plastic surrounds, really nice, and it's also rubberized as well, so it's going to grip the desk quite nicely, as you've probably seen from some of the shots. Next up from that, we've also got the actual arm itself. So as you can see, this is a articulated arm. Something which I actually like on this film, which is a little bit better than some of the other microphone arms I've had, is there is actually adjustment on various places. So there is a thumb screw type thing here, or wing screw I guess they call it. There's one there as well, and one towards the bottom, and also you've got one actually on the clamp as well, so you can move it around however you see fit. Also, something else, talking of fit and finish, actually getting the microphone to fit in here with the pop shield on. You can see the pop shield is there, that is installed. That does come actually as a separate part, so if you don't want to use the pop shield, you don't have to. For me personally, I do tend to sometimes overly pronounce my plosives, so it's actually quite nice to have a pop shield. And actually it looks a little bit nicer than just having one of those foamies on there. I actually quite like the look of this. It does the same thing, just basically reduces the wind pressure coming out of your mouth, which is always a good thing. Anyway, so that is the microphone, basically what you get, all the bits and pieces. Oh, actually, something I did forget is the Streamplify cable ties. So you get 3 of these included as well, so you can cable manage your USB cable should you wish to. Entirely up to you whether you do or not, but nice that they're included. There is also a quick start guide, but to be honest with you, it's kind of pointless because you just plug it in and it kind of works, which is awesome. So you've been listening to the review going through. There's been probably, depending how I edit this, a mixture of audio coming from my lavalier mic and also from obviously the Streamplify mic as well. This has been in podcast mode all the time, or at least I hope it has. When it's lit up blue, the LED on the front, that means it's in podcast mode. When you press and hold and it turns green, that means it's into kind of like the noise cancelling or the gaming mode. So I'm going to grab myself a keyboard now and we'll do some tests to see actually how much it does isolate. Okay, so now I've got my keyboard and mouse out, so as you can see it's on the desk here, so just typing away normally. So if you're maybe gaming and you're doing whatever, then this is the kind of noise you can hear. I'm not going to lie, it is going to be distracting, I think, in either mode, but this is currently in podcast mode, so you can get an idea what that is like. And hopefully those knocks and bangs and me moving around isn't travelling up through the microphone. So they'd be interested to hear what that's like as we play it back. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely fine. So now let's put it into gaming mode. So we're going to press and hold this for a couple of seconds. And you'll see the light flashed on there. And we're now in the green mode. So let's do exactly the same thing again. So we're playing our game and talking as you would do, and hopefully some of those knocks and bangs and clicks from the keyboard have been reduced slightly. I'm actually genuinely interested to see what that's going to be like. To me, I think it's going to be a little bit gimmicky, and probably you're finding now, listening to this, the audio, the clarity and the kind of resolution, it's going to be clipped probably quite a lot, depending obviously on your voice as well. That is going to differentiate it, how the actual circuitry works there, how it works out what is your voice and what isn't your voice in terms of clicks and bangs, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's switch back into the normal podcast mode. So now we're back into podcast mode, and now we can wrap things up. So in terms of audio quality, I think it's actually very, very good. Audio-wise, I think it does a fantastic job. Now, there are a couple of things which I think could have been improved. One of which is the pop shield. The pop shield, the way it actually attaches, this is such a minor thing, it's hardly worth saying, but it did frustrate me. There's very tiny little lugs which go on the bottom to actually keep it in the right place. And I've actually found that quite challenging. Now, I've done a lot of computer builds and stuff like that, and some of you probably know how bad I am at some of them, but yeah, I find it a little bit difficult to assemble the actual microphone. Without the pop shield, very simple, just plop it in, twist it around, job done. But to actually get it all to line up perfectly, I did struggle with a little bit. So that is a very slight negative, but certainly it is there. The next negative is going to be the volume control or the gain control. So we do have the gain control on the front, which is doubling up as the mode button, mute button, etc. It doesn't have a kind of an absolute. So what I mean by that is it just keeps on turning all the time. So you never really know what your settings are. So you can start up your software, just keep on twisting it completely to the clockwise direction, and eventually it's going to hit full blast. And conversely, obviously, if you want to reduce your volume, you can turn it anti-clockwise to reduce it. But you never actually know how many steps it takes. So yeah, that's a little bit of a negative for me. I don't like that at all. I'd much rather have a definite stopping point for the low and a definite stopping point for the high, or even just a midpoint. So you've got an idea roughly where the middle is. With microphones, getting the gain right, getting the levels right is difficult at the best of times. And for me personally, that potentially could actually be a deal breaker, because for some people you just like to be able to plug in your stuff, know that the level's right straight away rather than kind of going in, tweaking it, test, check, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that personally for me is a little bit of a negative. Obviously you could just turn it on full blast or turn it down all the way and just rely on your software and post-production to add boost or gain should you need to. In fact, probably for most microphones, turn them right down to the lowest gain possible, and then adjusting it in post probably is the better way of doing it to get the cleanest audio. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section. I think it's going to wrap it up. Lots to discuss and lots to think about on this one. Price-wise, yeah, you can't go wrong. The fact that you get the arm, you get the shock mount, the pop shield, 2 USB cables, some cable ties, and it actually looks like it comes from a decent company, nice package and all that kind of stuff. It's not your kind of typical Chinese knockoff stuff which comes through very, very cheaply, but it is very cheap. So £60 for this complete setup I think is a smashing price. If only they could sort out something with the volume adjustment on there, I think this would be the perfect microphone. Anyway, that's going to be it for the Streamplify mic. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.